Hello, and welcome to the second installment of the Transcontinental Ladder series. The last round was a game between myself, Gary Pan, and Gregory D. This game, because Gregory D lost that game, he moved down to the next rung down, which is called Bonaparte, and a new player has taken his place. That's just how the ladder works. We have 12 people right now, and we're all playing three-player games, so there's three other games and other that are also going on. And for every round, for every rung, the winner moves up, the loser moves down. And of course, the top rung, the winner has nowhere to move up to. So that's how the ladder works. So Sepple is somebody who I found on the leaderboard, the built-in leaderboard of the game, and he was in the top for the last 30 days. He's like one of the top 10 experience of anybody. So I was just browsing through and added him and asked him if he wanted to join. He said yes. So he is now in. I have never played against Sepple. I don't know his play style, so I'm interested to see how he plays. I want to take this opportunity to invite anybody who is a level 25 or greater right now. Please add me on, if you're interested in joining the ladder, please add me in the game. This is my name right here. And just send me a PM. Tell me if you're interested in joining. All right, let's load the game up and let's see what people have done so far. So Gary Pan took Engineering Genius. Sepple has opted for also going yellows, Richland, and Patriotism. And here's my first turn with 3 actions. The way I see it here, I have two main choices. I could go Hammurabi, my favorite, and Frugality, and maybe this Frugality. That's debatable. Or Pyramids. And they're both. I like these both. I love Hammurabi. Hammurabi doesn't get you any value by himself, but he gets you that extra action, which will get you value. And I think he's underrated in general. I always find that the first age just goes so smoothly with him. But here's the thing: if I don't take Pyramids, Gary Pan is taking Pyramids, and with Engineering Genius, that combo, it's just a little too good to let him do that. I do in this game. I'm going to be right ahead of Gary Pan, so a lot of my decisions, because I know Gary Pan is a very strong player, a lot of my decisions are going to be partly based on what am I leaving Gary Pan, and of course I could take that too far. I did take that too far last game when I denied him Genghis Khan. But I think in this game, in this case, it's not going too far to take Pyramids, and I can always hope for a better age, at least a decent age A leader. I don't think Hammurabi is going to survive, but we'll see who I get for leader and end the turn. So Gary's gone and taken Hammurabi here and built a third mine. Drawing 1 military card. So that was a pretty easy Hammurabi grab for him. I did leave him that, even though I took Pyramids. Sepple going with Julius Caesar and Colossus, the classic aggro combo. Like I said, I've never played against Sepple before, so I don't know his style. That is something I need to definitely take into account. So Caesar Colossus can be pretty dangerous about mid to late age 1. So I'm probably not going to be looking to get too much infrastructure this age, and this is probably going to be a fairly low scoring game overall. So as for my turn, I like the look of Monarchy right now. Monarchy with an intent to revolt into it next turn. That's looking really good for me because it's the kind of infrastructure that I can establish before Caesar really gets going. And then I have the 5 actions and 3 military. 3 military is great for dealing with Caesar. And yeah, that's just looking really, really good to me. The other reason to take it would be that if I were to say take a leader and not take monarchy, Gary's going to get monarchy for one military action and then be able to revolt into it that same turn. So for both those reasons, I am definitely taking monarchy. And then as for which leader, I do think Homer is better here, just because of the Caesar Colossus threat. Aristotle would be, I don't know. I just wouldn't feel comfortable going with him. Homer's more of a, get the military for cheap, and not only that, but get the happy face, and which in turn means more military. So I'm going to go with Homer. And then the last action, it's a decision between, do I want to build that third mine and risk having missing out on the warrior, or do I want to just increase pop? There's no rush to hire Homer because I'm not going to really do anything with him right now. So between those two, I am going to go ahead and just get the third mine and take that risk that I might miss. Gary probably is not going to play an event. He only drew one card. Caesar probably will play an event, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. I think it's worth taking this risk. So that is my turn. So Gary takes St. Peter's Basilica as his first wonder, and Monarchy for 2 gets a second philosophy. It's a risky first wonder. It's a very good wonder, but ravages. You all saw what happened last game. Well, shoot. What were the chances, right? That's unfortunate. We got to develop warfare, so I'm going to miss out on the free warrior because I did not increase my population. Caesar getting some military. So with Gary now having monarchy, I think maybe open borders is pretty viable. Well, I definitely don't want to do it with Caesar and get the +2 military on the attack. But Gary, yeah, I mean, we're both gonna have 3 very soon, and so getting a 4th each is great. I think that's what I'll do here. I'll propose an open borders agreement with Gary. Let's see what he says. Pack accepted. And I don't get a warrior, so there's only one choice in this dialogue. Um, Interestingly enough, I think Gary is not going to be getting a free warrior either, so I can feel a little better about that. The only guy that's getting a warrior is Seppel. So this first stage is going to be probably mostly about like defending against Seppel and just being ready to defend against Seppel. That is. And so that's partly why I did the open borders thing. It's also partly why I'm not as excited as I normally would be about iron here. I like iron. I do. I know there's debate about iron being good or bad, and if it's at 1 CA, it's usually something I'm going to take. Code of Laws, also kind of, I would normally take it, but I have pyramids and I have monarchy. It's not a really high priority for me right now. So it's a pretty decent row. But I think I am going to go ahead and go with the monarchy revolution. But let's look at a couple of alternatives. One would be to grab irrigation here after getting the philosophy down, and another would be iron and perhaps increase pop would be pretty good just to get ready for a free temple, and iron could be nice. I think that I just think that iron is going to be a little bit tough to get into though with Sepul going Caesar Colossus. So although those are both pretty decent turns, I'm gonna go ahead and just revolt. into monarchy, and that'll be my turn. So Gary Penn does follow through with that revolution and takes the iron that I left him with the free Hammurabi action. Love Hammurabi. So Caesar didn't attack me as I thought he might. He instead played an event. We all get a free pop. And now he's going Leonardo Alchemy. So he faked us out a little bit there. Is he gonna? Yeah, he's electing Leonardo. And yeah, so now that we both, Gary and I both, well, probably more myself, prepared for war, Sepul just said, all right, well, these guys are preparing for war. I'm just going to switch into economy. Made a huge pivot. He can still go to 7. He still has a pretty large army here, plus Colossus. But I do have 2 boats, so I'm not too worried about that. I can go. If he's at 7, I can still defend. And that'll be next turn, so I'll still get a warrior. Also, fighting band is out, so I can always get that. So my turn. Let's see. Let's go ahead and skip politics, and I get a free pop increase. And well, I like a lot of the stuff here in the row: irrigation, alchemy. I want to grab those, and let's get out of corruption. And I guess I didn't have to do that pop increase, but I do want to get a philosophy going and get some science. The last action, I could here. There's a few things I could do. I could take Joan. I don't need a 5th military action. It'd be more for being able to see the events, and also it would also ensure that I have somebody to replace Homer, and not so Joan's okay. I'd much rather have Genghis though, and if I leave the card row as it is, then Gary's gonna have to pay 3 for Genghis, which makes it more likely that it'll still be there when it's my turn. So I'll leave Joan up there. Gary has been known to take Joan. He's a fan. So I don't know if he'll take Joan either. We'll see. We'll see. 5 actions. He could take Genghis for 3 and still have 2 actions. So my last action, I would rather just increase pop. Increase pop is an action that you have to do anyway at some point, and so just it's like banking an action for later to increase pop. I don't really need the pop right now, but this frees up. It gives me more flexibility in the next couple turns. Homer, I'm definitely priority to get Homer down next turn, but I think increasing pop is a little bit more flexible even than Homer. So let's do that. Development of politics, 3 cards each. It's pretty nice for all of us, but Hammurabi especially loves that, and Seppo likes this too because he's sitting at 2 military actions. So Gary does go for Joan, gets a 5th military action. I think he just really likes Joan, first of all, but he also gets to get Taj for free, Taj Mahal, which usually isn't that great of a wonder, but in his situation, if Ravages of Time hits, he can choose Taj to lose instead of his source of happiness. So Seppo leaning full on into Leonardo, which is just great for him. He's gonna get 4 science a turn and plus the extra rocks. He's looking really strong right now. Code of laws for that 5th civic action. Tons of resources in yellows. Let's look at those yellows again. Patriotism. Okay, he's probably not going to play that, but rich land, engineering genius. He's definitely getting the Colossus out. No problem next turn. So for my turn, I don't have a an event that I really want to play here. Um, these are, you got the strength-based events here. I don't really feel like I'm going to be getting super strong. Skip politics. Now, I could see playing inhabited and then grabbing cartography, but force science is a lot just for maybe probably getting inhabited. Also, Sepul's going to have the Colossus up with the +1 boat, so I would be still kind of competing with that from with Sepul on getting that territory. So anyway, skipping politics. So now I could get Genghis here or wait until Columbus. The problem with waiting until Columbus is this guy right here. I have Homer, and if I don't get Columbus in a very like if Columbus shows up at 3, for example, or doesn't show up at all next turn, then I'm gonna really wish I had taken Genghis. Um, and I just don't. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. I'm basically choosing the happy face over the 2 yellows, even though 2 yellows I think is better. But this lets me just breeze on through this Homer transition without having to worry about it too much next turn. Definitely want to get breakthrough. I always like taking breakthrough for ones. Just it's almost never a bad decision. And what else? Let's get out of corruption. I might as well use Homer for a warrior. I still have enough rocks to finish pyramids. And one more action. I'm thinking I'll build this. Now I could take iron, but here's the thing. I have 6 civic actions. That's enough to start pulling these yellows down and getting like reserves next turn perhaps, and stuff like that. Urban growth, rich land, and all that. So I think I have enough rocks coming in as it is. I don't need to take iron. Also, iron would make my hand pretty full, although with pyramids it won't be full building pyramids. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait and not take the iron, and instead get the pyramids started. And so let's end the turn. Now I have quite a bit. Now I don't want to copy the tactic. I could copy fighting band, but I'd rather draw 2 military cards. So for the turn, for the cards, let's see. I can go ahead and throw away cultural influence, reign of terror. Inhabited territory is, yeah, I'm not going to play that. Crusades, no thanks. 2 more. Let's see. We have 2 enslaves, so I'll get rid of one of those enslaves. Now Legion, I kind of want to keep Legion because that might be my best option next turn. Getting into Legion. Let's see what the tactics are again. Okay, there is a Legion out there. I could copy that, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't realize that. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and get rid of Legion. So then I'm keeping Enslave. I think this is a raid, and 2 boats. I like it. Border conflict, raiders, and rats. Rats could be fun. So Gary's played the last event for this stack. Gets into some iron. Grabs the rich land, great combo. So Sepul triggers the rebellion, and he had 1 discontent. So I can conclude that Gary Penn played that event. He has 2 actions for his whole turn, which he uses to build the Colossus before it has to go away. Alright, so my turn. I just want to check again and see what Gary did. His first action was to build that temple for 3. So he was getting ready for rebellion, probably. Okay, so that's interesting. The only event that I could possibly see playing would be rats. I usually don't play rats if I have irrigation, but it would go not in this stack, it would go in the next stack, so it would hit people who got into selective breeding, and that would be both of them, really. So that's actually pretty tempting. I also got rid of a lot of the strength-based events, and I have, you know, raiders in my hand. So I don't really have a whole lot to fear. The biggest issue would be if this hit right now, that would be pretty bad. But I think it might actually be worth playing rats just to get people who get into selective breeding. Okay, cool. That's fine. Might as well get some food so that I can get the population out faster before rats hit. And for my turn, obviously finishing the pyramids, I'll go ahead and replace Homer. And then I have three actions. Let's see. Um, I think I do want reserves and Great Wall. And then, well, let's see. That would lead to corruption, wouldn't it? I guess I can leave reserves behind. And, um, hmm, interesting. Maybe if I do this and then increase pop, that could do it. So I get like I use Homer's free resource. Yeah. Okay. I'll do it that way. And end the turn. I'm gonna end the turn. Discard two of these. Raiders can go. I guess both of these can go. Really. Yeah. Goodbye. Wow. Interesting hand. So he wins it with the swordsman and one boat. Gary now with 3 irons. Just picking up some yellows. He could have built another warrior, but he didn't. It's interesting. So immigration was just revealed. Gary probably played that too. I wonder what Seppo was trying to dig after. Seppo having a little bit of corruption here, but he wanted to get the university. Well, I have a fistful of aggressions. I've actually seen 5 out of 6 age 1 aggressions. The only one I haven't seen was this plunder here. So I'm pretty safe hanging out as the weakest, except Seppo was digging after something. I wonder what that was. It might have been scientific breakthrough, because he does have the most science. But what I could do here is, I didn't want to do this before, but I can copy this legion, and that actually will make me the strongest. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. At the cost of 1 military card draw. I think that's worth it to become the strongest. And I'm really liking Revolutionary Idea right there at 2. If I'm short in something, it's resources, really. It's what I'm short by. There are only really a couple things I want to definitely research in this age. Coal would be nice, really nice. Team sports would be great. And one, definitely, almost certainly rifleman, possibly one of these two. So that's about 20 science that I need to come up with this age. And of course more would be nice. But I pretty much have 20 science as it is with these 2 yellows and the science I'm doing. but it's resources that I'm short on. Three, I'm only getting three a turn. I need 9 for this. I need another 10 for both of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and build a fourth bronze mine. And yeah, I probably will get coal, but that might come much later. I can just leave this guy on bronze for now, and I'll probably pop him off of there later. But that could net me, a couple, 2 or 3 resources, which would be really nice. Patriotism, and then I'll go ahead and start the alchemy. Get the science going. I mean, more science never hurts. 20, yeah, I need about 20 science for this age, but I'd love to have more going into age 3. So I'll get that going. Not too excited about aggressions right now. Actually, enslave is one of my favorite aggressions. It can be pretty devastating if people are all like their worker pool is empty. So let's do that. We have a historic territory of Forbid, and as far as I know, that's the only territory that there is. There, of course, could be some here, but they'd only be age 1 territories, so it would be one of these 3. So, as far as how many boats I want to throw at this, Vast, it would be a shame to miss out on Vast. But other than that, I don't see much reason not to go all out for this. Let's see. Let's just look. What does that look like? The thing is, I would be at 2, and then Sepple would go. But if he attacked me, I still have other cards that I could use to defend. I have these 2 cards, the 2 aggressions. So I still have defense. Yeah, I'm not, in love with happy historic territory, but it would be nice to steal a happy face from probably Sepple. So sure, why not? I'll throw it all in there. Didn't think it would be that expensive. All right. So 1 warrior in all of the 1 boats. So Gary is getting into a couple knights here, jumping into the strongest position and strategy and medieval army. So he's at 9. Seppo going with Code of Laws, getting that 5th civil action. Getting that 3rd warrior back from when he colonized. So they're both pretty strong. It's going to be a bit of a stretch trying to get Genghis's 3 culture. What I'd like to do is I see a rifleman here, so I'm definitely going to take that. I have no red text yet, and selective breeding. Not only would I benefit from that, but these guys don't have irrigation, so I'm taking that from one of them. And possibly organize religion as well here. And that would leave me with 2 more actions. Let's go ahead and get a warrior for the patriotism. And then to get out of corruption I'm just going to build a stage of the Great Wall. And end my turn. Okay, so Napoleonic Army. That that's okay. So I would be a little awkward trying to get into that, but not too bad. And another nice thing is that 2 out of 3 of these units will be on the Great Wall. So I think I will try to get into that. It's going to be a lot of science though too, cannon and cavalry. Shoot, that's really unfortunate. The one of the only strength-based events that I didn't see actually was placed in the deck. So I lost a yellow to Gary. Really bad news. Gary's gonna go journalism with that new shiny new yellow he just got. Why not? 3 guys on science. Brings him up to 6 culture per turn. And soon to be 9 with the Taj. Seppo going with constitutional monarchy, revolution. And it looks like he's finishing the university. So he's going to have a nice science output. Yeah, he's really done well with this build. This started out Caesar Colossus, and he's pivoted into a lot of actions. What is he at? 7 actions now, and 5 science a turn. All right. Well, so I see Napoleon there again. It's Napoleon at 3. That is tempting. Definitely skipping politics here. So one thing I could do here, because what I'm thinking is Gary took Napoleon here, then he could get up to 19. He has reserves. That's 2 more food. He just puts out another warrior and researches strategy. And then if he plays a war, he's at 19. I'm at 5. I have a lot of catching up to do. So it's very tempting to want to take Napoleon and get riflemen out. And then I would grab these 2. That's a pretty solid play. I think. Well, it's a safe play. Is what I should say. It's a play that says no, you're definitely not going to declare war on me. The big downside that I see though is that I don't necessarily want 2 riflemen right away. I'm gonna, this is my only tactic right here. I'm gonna want to have a cannon first and a cavalry. That would be kind of a more of a long-term build where I get 2 full Napoleonic armies, which I definitely want. But I don't know that this is really the best play. The other thing is I have a lot of actions that I need to spend on this, and if I spend 3 right now grabbing Napoleon, then that's going to be it's just going to be a little that much harder to finish the wall later when I really want to be grabbing more of these yellows. So I'm going to risk that maybe Gary doesn't have a war, and I know that's a big risk considering there are 4 wars in there. But let's say Gary, he's looking actually like he might want to go Shakespeare. He has architecture. Shakespeare's going to be right there for him. So it might not be in his best interest to go Napoleon, and I might actually get Napoleon next turn for 1. So what I'm going to do instead of that is I'm going to go ahead and skip politics, finish the Great Wall, and then my 3 will look like this. So I researched riflemen just to get it down because I definitely know I want to put that down. I could have researched selective breeding, but I feel like this by researching riflemen, I guess it's just one step closer to the defense that I'm going to need if Gary Pan is tempted by Napoleon. Discarding 2. Now I guess Enslave can go because it's going to be a while before I can get in a position where I'm attacking somebody. I have Raid, I have Spy, I have Ravages. I don't really want to see Ravages of Time played. I do like having the Pyramids. I do miss that extra action if it does kick in. And nobody's really. I mean, Sepple would definitely just throw the Colossus in, no problem. Gary Pan has the Taj he's about to build. That's also not a big deal. So I don't mind seeing that go. Well, this is a very Napoleon hand. So Gary Pan has played an event and triggered Vast Territory, and that's interesting because he knew it was Vast Territory, and Sepple has a free boat. So I'm assuming, well, I don't know. Either Gary played an event that he really wanted to play, or he has a couple two boats here. Then again, then again, this is a little bit late for Vast Territory to be super effective. It's going to be nice to have for sure, but let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put one warrior at this. I'll be at 3 away from Sepple, so I have plenty of cards to defend with if Sepple decides to attack me. 2 warriors I don't think would be appropriate here. It would just be too much food that I would lose. But 1 warrior is great. So Sepple wins with 3 warriors. Wow, 3 warriors for 3 yellows. So Gary does go Napoleon. Half expected him to go Shakespeare here. But he goes Napoleon and then researches architecture, which is interesting. So he didn't have a war. I think if he had a war, he would have gone for the war and maybe attacked Sepple with that. Sepple going for the coal railroad combo. So what I have is, again, rats to deal with. I would love to start getting my farm down, but unfortunately I played rats, and it just makes my advantage that much, not, that much lesser. Selective breeding, being the only one with a farm upgrade, isn't so great when you know there's rats. And for that reason, mostly for that reason, I do want to play this strategic territory and try to get the rats out. It's a 1 in 3 chance I fish it out, and also it's 2 points. I do like to get points when I can. So let's go ahead and throw that out there and see what happens. There it is. Great. That's awesome. Very fortunate for that to happen. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the selective breeding going. And let's see. Let me back that up a second. There's Newton here. So I want to go ahead and use Newton to get selective breeding. And then upgrade. And we'll start the Napoleonic army with those resources. That leaves me with 2 actions. And I could... So I'm definitely needing cavalry. And then it's a toss-up between Wave of Nationalism and Efficient Upgrade. Now, if I took Wave, that takes it from Gary, kind of. I mean, it also gives some scientific method. I just think that... I think it's okay to take Efficient Upgrade here. And... let's see, what else? So two cards. I guess it's going to be an aggression. So raid can go spy, infiltrate, or raid. We don't need two raids, but spy, infiltrate, or raid. Between all those, I like spy. I infiltrate is probably what I should take out at this point. It's it's pretty situational, whereas spy is just amazing if it hits. It's always good to spy on someone. So I kind of forgot to show this, but the previous couple turns. Let's just go ahead and look at the log here. So Gary proposed a international trade agreement with Seppel. He gets to get more food. Gary's getting more food. Seppel's going to be getting more rocks per turn. Gary was sitting at 0 food income per turn, so now he's at 1. So totally makes sense why he wanted to get that down. Um, he chose Seppel for the rocks. I don't know. I guess usually you choose the person you think is behind. I think I was behind. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. We're similar stats. Anyway, I think I think he could have gone either way probably, but he chose the person who had 3. He had Seppel, if you believe it or not. He had 3. But on his turn, as you can see, as you well see, Seppel destroyed one of his labs. Anyway, Seppel was at 3. I was at 4. He chose Seppel to get +1 rocks. Gary went and developed Swordsman and chose Napoleon Bonaparte. So he got up to 12 military, which put him at the strongest at the time. And he destroyed a lab, built another journalist, and that was about it. And then Seppel, he develops Rifleman for 6, takes selective breeding, basically steals selective breeding from Gary. So now Gary can't really. He's gonna have to wait for the next farm tech, and then he destroyed that mine. I probably thinking that once he gets coal going, that he's gonna have plenty of resources coming in. Coal plus Transcontinental Ladder. Um, so he built a rifleman. So maybe Seppel was trying to get ready for military. He didn't get to be anything but the weakest. He was still the weakest after getting to 9. But he's probably just getting on his way, just trying to move in that direction. And he takes Richland. Okay. So anyway, the point is that I was thinking that Gary prepared. He knew he was Joan. He knew what the event was. It looked like he was preparing for a strength-based event. So I looked at the 2 strength-based events that were there and thought, yeah, these would be great to happen right now. And so I played an event, mostly because I wanted to get the 2 points. I played Civil Unrest. And so here we are. That triggered the scientific breakthrough. Now, okay, so I definitely want to take patriotism. You guys can see how low I am on rocks. So from here, there are 2 paths that I see. One is go ahead and upgrade my stuff, and great, now I have a lot of food coming in and a little more science, and probably just play this, get the 4 science. So that's one way to do it. The big issue here with this is Air Force is sitting right there, and I could definitely see Gary stealing it for 3, even though he has only 5 civic actions. If not Gary, certainly Seppel with 7 is going to take it from the 2 section. And I feel like my best chances are to declare war on Gary. My best chances of victory. Gary being the point leader and also struggling with food. Now he does have a couple people he could disband. He could disband 3 really. He could disband a lot of people to build more military. So it's not as though I'm certainly going to win against him on military. He's going to defend. He's going to defend himself militarily, but it's going to take a lot of his effort to do so. And I'm hoping that that I can catch up with the fact that I have a little more actions. I have 6 actions plus I have Newton, which is like free actions, and be able to steal more yellows and basically overcome my problems, which are I don't have a lot of resources coming in, and I'm still not quite where I want to be on science. I would like to get more military actions to be able to follow through on this war, and that's going to be a struggle to get military and air force. So anyway, all that being said, what I think is a better option here is to take air force. I have to research something just to clear my hand. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'd have to upgrade a rifleman to get out of corruption. And so now I'm trying to get towards either a modern army or I do still have this Napoleonic army, and maybe I'll make 2 Napoleonic armies. Um, Next turn I'll have 8 resources for military. Turn after that it'll be 12. So it's going to be a slow build. I'm definitely going to hope for more yellows to get the resources that I need. So I'm thinking I definitely don't want to see national pride. I almost never use this. Like I don't think it's going to be useful here. The boat, I don't know. That's tough. That's really tough. It's either the boat or one of the aggressions. The aggressions I need because I'm moving towards a military strategy. I don't know. This is really tough. I know the strategic territory is coming up, so I don't really want to lose the boat. What I could what I could ditch is I could ditch spy because I think raid is more what I need right now is resources. So I'm gonna do that. A little sad to see spy going, but can't have it all, can you? So Gary's just played an event and he has revealed good harvest, and we all got a bunch of food. Gary got 3 food because of that pact. I actually didn't know that pact would have an effect on great harvest, but it does. He got 3 food instead of just 2. So he gets a 6th action and a 3rd library. 12 points a turn. That's difficult to catch. So Sepul goes with another revolution into communism and really making the most of that. I was really hoping he'd leave Winston Churchill for me, but he just took it. There it goes. So Sepul is going to be very difficult to attack. He's going to have tons of science and resources for military. Again, short on food, as I said before, but he's he has these guys. It's just interesting that he has. Did he rebuild the mine just there? Yeah, he rebuilt that mine. Okay. So anyway, um, I was originally thinking that I would go military and ideally attack Gary, but also have the side benefit of attacking Sepul and maybe getting resources from him. But now that Sepul took that, he took Winston, and I don't get Winston. It's not looking so great. Honestly, at this point, I think my chances of winning this game are really low. And so second place is probably my best shot. If I'm going to attack anybody, it's still going to be Gary. If I do get enough resources somehow, and Gary somehow doesn't prepare for this, it's pretty unlikely. But that is my only chance at winning. So I think what I should do is go for second place here. It's sad to admit that, but I think we're at that point now. I'm pretty close to Sepul on points, and pretty close on in as far as like our economy. I don't think he's gonna get this coal down soon enough for it to really matter. And the coal plus the Transcontinental Railroad, I just don't think he's gonna have that, and I don't think it's gonna. If he does get it, it's not gonna be on time to actually benefit from it. So if I pivot here into points, and maybe Sepul goes into military, I think that could work out. But what will help me here is this peace treaty. So let's consider it. I'm gonna offer this to Sepul. Now, why would Sepul accept this? Maybe he would rather focus, I don't know, focus on attacking Gary. Maybe he's in the same mindset as I was before I lost Winston Churchill to him. He might be thinking, okay, great. This is basically -4 points for Gary, is what this really amounts to. So he accepted it. And now, for me, this is what pivoting into points looks like. I'm going to get some science and grab revolutionary idea. We'll just get that out. Satellites. What else? Let's see. I can get that out of there. And what else? Okay, let's increase pop and then build a religion. Okay, so this is not really spectacular, but it's gotten me a bunch of science, satellites, and it's more towards the impacts and not necessarily points per turn. But I really don't have the resources to be like slamming down a multimedia, for example. So we'll see where this leads. This is kind of more middle of the road approach. What do I get rid of here? Impact of architecture? Maybe. No one's really doing great in architecture. Gary has a pretty a big potential for getting a pretty solid architecture. I guess raid, really. Yeah, since I was gonna use that on Sepul maybe, and I just don't see that being too useful. So let's get rid of that. Ooh, cool. Okay. So Gary's triggered the strategic territory that I played. And I definitely can throw these boats in there. And then it's just a question of, do I throw a warrior for 6 or a rifleman for 8? It's 3 more resources for the rifleman. And I am I've been pretty short on resources and will probably continue to be short on resources for this game. So that's the trade-off I'm making here. Do I? It's not only the resources but the food as well. Now the food I have pretty well handled. I don't have a ton of food, but I mean it's not. It's more about the resources here. So what am I willing to spend? I think if I had to go to 8 and take this from somebody else, I think that's a good thing. I would take a bunch of impacts for myself and deny impacts for others, and that could be pretty big. I think that's worth 3 resources. Yeah, it looks like I won with 8. That was exactly enough to steal it from Gary. So there it is. Let's see what I get. This is Mechanized Army, which I'm pretty far from at this point. Another Mechanized Army. And Impact of Agriculture, Impact of Science, and Technology. So Gary looks like he took mechanized ag for 3, upgraded one of them, and also took efficient upgrade. Seppo goes ahead and looks like he's finishing the railroad. So that's a little more rocks per turn for him. Oh, I was really hoping you didn't take that engineering genius. I don't know if I really would have made use of it, but he left the endowment of the arts at least. Okay, so just take a quick look at what they did here. Yep, mechanized ag for 3. He really wanted that food. Okay, so my turn is probably going to look like, maybe multimedia endowment for the arts, engineering perhaps, or reserves, one of those. I'm feeling like agriculture, even though Gary just got ag going, at least it's gonna potentially get me some points over Sepple, depending on what Sepple does with his turn. So I feel like it's pretty safe play. It might end up being like no benefit in the long run, but it's probably not going to hurt to play ag, and gives me a little more control over the events. These two can be, I mean, Gary's definitely winning technology. Science right now, I'm going to hold it onto it for now, and that's the kind of event you want to play at the end of the game. So yeah, let's see what Impact of Ag does. Oh, cool. I mean, that's not really much of a change, but all right, we got points. So then for my turn, I'm going to go ahead and grab these reserves first. And let's see, let's get patriotism, and that will get us a free upgrade. Increase pop, and you know what? Let's do patriotism for the horse. Okay, and then 2 more actions left. I can't grab 2 things unless I research something. So let's research this, and then I definitely want endowment. And then it's between multimedia and urban growth. Now, ideally I'd get both, but that can't happen. These are all pretty key of actions. I mean, that I took. I believe these are all important actions. I could. Well, no. I mean, I could put back reserves, and I have 2 more actions left. I don't know what I would do with 3 actions at this point. Multimedia, urban growth, and then just maybe play revolutionary idea. That's a possibility. You know, that would save me an action in the future too, because I wouldn't have to spend an action to play reserves. So let's back that up a little bit. Let's go urban growth, researching cannon, take endowment, researching, what was the next one? I guess satellites would be, ooh, that leaves me with very little science, but that's all right. That's all right, because I do have, I do have enough science for getting into either movies or computers. One of those, I guess. Yeah, I think that's a better use of my turn than trying to spend 2. I would also, I'm interested in engineering. That could be pretty good. But I don't think it's enough resources that I'm saving to justify it right now. It really kind of depends on how military this game ends up being. So anyway, let's see what happens with that. End the turn. Okay, so it's hard to see with this the way this is organized, but keeping modern army, impact of science, and impact of technology. Wow. So Gary gets 6 rocks from this economic progress that he played. And we can see now why he was so eager to get the mechanized ag. Just piling on the points here. Why not? Nobody's really threatening him. Kind of needs the happiness too. So movies makes a lot of sense with St. Peter's. All right. There's, I believe that's the one I played. Nothing happened there, but Sepple did get an impact played. So I wonder what that was. Oh, and he's finally going to use Churchill for his resources in science. So we can see that Sepple is starting to build up. Now he's going to be... It looks like he's going to get even more. It's going to be going for... looks like a Napoleonic army, but he doesn't have that tactic. I have that tactic. Had that tactic. He goes for fortifications. So now he's at 22 military. And here's the main reason I wanted to have a peace treaty with Sepple, which is that I saw him pushing military with Winston Churchill, and I wanted some time to catch up. See, I don't have to catch up to Sepple, but I do have to catch up to Gary. If Gary were to feel the need to ramp up his military, and then I would have to catch up with Gary. But it gives me that extra turn. I don't have to do anything right now. I do have an extra turn to do other things. Now, as for the impacts, what to play next, currently I do have a science advantage, but I do like to save that for towards the end. We haven't seen computers yet. I'm not sure if Sepple is going to jump on computers. I'm probably going to go multimedia, depending on what the events come out to be. Technology, this could be me or Sepple here. Population, I'm hoping it's me. I have probably one more pop increase in me, and so that's going to be even 2 points more. So this would be at least a 5-point play, I believe. It depends on whether Sepple gets his selective breeding going. But either way, he's not going to have an enormous population. It's not going to be more. He might get one more pop out of it if he gets on that right now and gets maybe reserves going. No, I guess one more. If he gets selective breeding next turn and upgrades both, then he could get one more pop. Point being that this is at least 3 points over Sepple, and that's all I'm trying to do right now is beat Sepple. So I'll play this. Cool, okay. So again, a little more food over Sepple, which is fine. I don't think it's going to make a difference, actually. Alright, so with that, my turn would be something like multimedia. Go ahead and increase pop. Build one of those. And now I'm out of corruption, which is great. And okay, let's back up a bit, because I think I definitely want to play this now. Oh wait, am I not? Oh, Sepple actually has the same number of points as me. Maybe I save endowment for now then, because it might come in handy later if Sepple somehow gets ahead of me. I'm gonna grab Einstein before I research multimedia, and thanks to the food that we just got, I can just increase pop rather than disband. And then I have 2 actions, and that's a pretty obvious play, I think. These 2 cards will be those 2 actions. I could see maybe starting to get ready here. I mean, I do have, what is this? 1, 2, 3 would be the building Air Force. 4. So I have 4 military actions if I want to really get ready for a huge military ramp up. So I could see trying to just spread that out over a couple turns. I have to spread that out over a couple turns. So it might be a good idea to go ahead and get that rifleman right now. That way I can, if I need to, I can spend 3 military actions on a subsequent turn to get the full army going. But let's say I want to do that next turn. I only have, let's say I have 18 resources, which is enough. It is enough to get that whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle. And but well, am I going to need that? Is Gary going to push military to the point where I need to worry about Gary? Because I don't have to worry about Sepul. We have a peace treaty. Am I going to need to worry about Gary next turn? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's going to be. It's hard to say, really, but it's one of those situations where I think I just need to be aware of the situation. I don't feel like I need to upgrade that right now, and I would rather draw another military card. Yes, I could still. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. All right, so 2 of these cards have to go, and um, let's see. Well, I don't see a war of a culture happening against Gary. He just has too much infrastructure, too much stuff like resources, food, science. I'm not going to be able to pull that off. I only have 3 military actions, so I'm going to throw that out. Impact of Wonders can go because that's definitely a disadvantage on my end. Even against Sepul, who was all I really care about. So I'm throwing those out. Oh, careful, kiddo. So Gary Pan has triggered the Cold War event, and I'm the weakest. So that's not super great because now Sepul has 6 more science than me. Gary Pan apparently was hiding that classical army. There was a time when he could have played it before and he didn't, and I guess he was hiding. He was trying to bait people into trying to attack him. Upgrades a second mechanized ag, gets another, what was that, a theater? Another movies, and grabs urban growth. Okay, so now, and then Sepul has played an impact. Let's look at these impacts. I believe it was, yeah, they both played an impact just now. And then the second one triggered inhabited territory. The second one. So this would get me 2 population, and and I wouldn't need to upgrade to religion. So that's a value for sure. I definitely want to throw a warrior at this. The other benefit is that I've played impacted population, and if I lose a warrior but then gain 2 pop, then that's 2 more points. And if I take that away from Sepul, then that's a 4 point swing with Sepul. Definitely okay to lose the warrior. If I lost the rifleman to this though, then all of a sudden I need to actually spend real money to get into where I'm safe against Gary. So not being who wants to spend money, I think it is better to just go for just use the warrior and use the reserves to build a multimedia. And that'll also put me in a great position to play Impact of Science and maybe even Impact of Technology. Yeah, I'm gonna have 2 more turns, so I'll have 2 more impacts that I'll definitely want to play. Okay, so that's why I'm just gonna do the warrior and see what happens. Gary Pan, great. So Gary gets it with a knight. Sepul got oil, which makes sense if you look at his Transcontinental Railroad. Especially makes sense if he played something like Impact of Industry. And he does get, sadly, into selective breeding, which um, gives him a heck of a lot more points for agriculture.
6 more points to be exact. Um, Missed the last couple things. He took movies and upgraded a lab. Um, so he has one more turn. Well, actually, I could prolong the game if I wanted to. I don't think that's such a great idea because production um, for Sepul is amazing right now. There's nothing, none of the wonders are there for him anymore, but he could build movies, and I don't want that to happen. So I am going to definitely want to end the game here. I think on my turn it's going to be civil service and grab this for mostly for impacted government. This for the actual, the civic actions will be nice. But if I grab both of those, then I can play this right now and get another 6 points, well, really 9 points against Sepul. So, and then I'm going to save science. I'll probably have enough to do the impact of science because Sepul, if he gets computers and upgrades twice, he's still only going to have what is that, 10 science per turn? No, 12 science, and I'm about to build another multimedia. But anyway, I'm gonna wait and see if that actually pans out. And for now, I'll play Impact of Progress. There's Ag, right in time for Sepul's upgrade. Okay, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this. Definitely want to take that in case there's government, and I just played Impact of Progress. Um, all right, then I'll build the multimedia. Yeah, okay. And with two more actions, um, I do I do see and then the last action, I might as well play this. I don't see getting under Sepul's points. I don't see that happening. So, I mean, if he played an event and it was well in his favor, um, which it might be, then possibly, well, I guess I should wait on that, come to think of it, because it's possible that he can get more points. So I'll hold on to that and just do nothing with my last action, I guess. I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh, of course, I already have that. Yeah, there's nothing I can take. So, yeah, that's it for this turn. I have four. I'll have four resources next turn for this upgrade, and that's probably what I'm gonna do with that. Because I'm gonna have a discontent worker, and then I might play this to try to make a play for impact of strength, disbanding the bronze mines. And yeah, I'm aware that that's going to be have implications for impact of balance and industry. So I am going to wait and see what happens between now and then. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I won't. All right, let's end the turn. I don't want to use those two military actions. So two cards, military alliance for sure. I don't I don't think impact of competition is gonna have much benefit to me compared to impact of technology. Impact of tech, I already got. Let's just look at this a second, just to confirm. But yeah, I already have four over Sepul. Sepul could get computers down or rockets. He also has a revolutionary idea. He might get an advantage there, but he'll definitely have more of an advantage on competition, I think. So I'll ditch competition. See what I get. Okay, not useful.
Gary's played another impact, which triggered population, and I got 2 points above Sepul for this. And with exactly 17 science, he gets democracy for more points. And a third movie. And Chaplin. You really didn't need Air Force, as it turns out. I wasn't. Well, who knows? Maybe there is an impact of strength in there. Um, Impact of happiness. So I got another 4 points on Sepul. So I thought he might go for computers here, and even if he did, he would not have. I don't think he would have gotten enough for impact of science, but he went for movies anyways, so I don't have to worry about that. Those are some late computers. So choice is obvious here. Impact of science. And there's my progress. So I didn't get my military theory out in time for that. But I do still want to get that researched. Let's play military buildup first, and then military theory. And because it could be impact of government, mostly that's why. There's no impact of technology, so it's not like I need to get a number of techs researched. So I'm just going to go for impact of government there for 3 points. There's neither of these two are really going to help me, I don't think. I mean, I don't see any reason to get anything but military theory. And let's go ahead and get the 3 points from that. And I'm going to disband bronze, upgrade here, and disband the farm because impact of ag has already been played. Resolved. And I'll get my army just to get the impact of strength if that does come up. And I have 2 more actions that I don't see anything useful to do with. So I will end my last turn of the game. And yep, there's impact of government. So that was 3 points that I picked up there. And strength. I'm guessing Sepul played strength, which did help him against Gary. Pretty sure Gary played that. He had 3 blue techs and movies and library. And there's my science. Colonies, I didn't expect that. I thought industry was going to be this last one, but I'm assuming Sepul played that again for, well, he got 3 points on me for playing that. And there you have it. Gary takes it easily with Taj Mahal at that. So looking back at all the decisions that I made in this game, I can safely say that for me the biggest regret I have was not taking iron. I had iron at 1 civic action twice this game, and the first one I let it go and let Gary take it. The second one, it was already about to be chopped off the end of the row, and I still let it go. So that was a mistake. That turned out to be a mistake. At the time I was thinking I need to prepare for military. I don't have enough time or science, but then I got Genghis, and Genghis is a huge relief on science, and I could have used that for iron. But that's what happened. And anyway, I want to hear from you guys what you think. If you agree with that, yes or no. But also, what do you think was my biggest mistake, or maybe the top 3 mistakes? Tell me. Just leave a comment and just say, tell me like what you would have done differently. I'm very curious. That's half the reason I'm making these videos, is to be able to look back at my games and say, well, this was probably an incorrect decision, and it'd be nice to have a discussion about that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you want to join the ladder, just add me the on the game. Okay. Thanks, guys.